Hey guys, it's Sinem and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. So today I'm going to be doing top foundations in each category. So I have seen this video go around on YouTube, and basically what it is showing you guys all the foundations I recommend, whether it's a matte foundation, a dewy foundation, liquid, BB cream, tinted foundations, powder foundation, cream foundation, all of those categories of foundation, which one I recommend in each category. Does that make sense? Definitely grab a snack and a drink, and without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. So I'm going to start off with a full coverage foundation. If you guys are looking for a full coverage foundation, this one has got to be the best one on the market, I think. And that is the Too Faced Born This Way matte foundation, 24-hour wear. It is waterproof, it is smudge proof, transfer proof. I honestly, when I first tried it, did not like this foundation, and now it is like one of my holy grail matte foundations. It is incredible. If you are looking for a matte foundation but isn't too matte to the point where it dries you out, but still gives you that matte finish and is full coverage, this is the one. It honestly lasts so long, more than a typical 8-hour day. It definitely lasts longer than that. And it honestly is pretty much transfer proof. Sometimes it does come off in certain areas, but for the most part, my foundation at the end of the day looks flawless when I wear this. It is a very just foolproof foundation without looking cakey or heavy on the skin. So, you know, it even says here undetectable skin long wear foundation. It definitely is long wearing. It definitely looks like skin. It is not a heavy looking foundation. So I honestly would recommend this if you are someone who is looking for a good full coverage foundation with a matte finish. I honestly would say get this because there are tons of shades you can find, hopefully. And it's also oil free, oil controlling, transfer resistant. So many great things that this foundation claims and actually does. So yeah, I really like this one, and it has really grown on me. So this is the first one I'd recommend for that category. For a satin foundation, I would definitely recommend the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This one is beautiful on the skin. It honestly gives you just the most beautiful radiant satin looking finish on the skin without being overly dewy or without being matte. It's just that perfect in between. It also is a really great medium to full coverage foundation. So with this one, it starts off nice and medium, and then you can build it as well, which is great. So you don't have to worry about it being too full coverage straight away. It honestly looks like skin. I'm sure you guys have heard amazing things about this foundation. I feel like Nars foundations never go wrong, and I feel like it works on every single skin type, skin tone. There are so many shades to choose from as well, and I just feel like Nars is just one of those brands where it's like you can go to them for foundation and they just get it right each time, you know. So yeah, this is beautiful. It just gives you a very naturally radiant finish, again without looking super dewy. It lasts long. It doesn't last long as a matte foundation would, but honestly, get it. It's worth the price. I absolutely love how creamy it is as well on the skin and how it just glides on. If you are looking for a dewy foundation, this is my holy grail foundation in general, but this is the most dewy foundation I have found. And this is the L'Oreal 24-hour Infallible Pro Glow foundation. This is one of my favorites. It's a very liquidy foundation, so it's very runny. It's so moisturizing. It has this really nourishing formula to it. It even says here it is a very radiant dewy finish. It wears up to 24 hours. The coverage is medium and the texture is air light, and it definitely is. It feels very light on the skin, does not feel heavy. It almost feels like you're wearing nothing. And the way this just glides on the skin is just like silk. That's the way I can describe it. Just think of something super light and silky and just almost like buttery. It's very moisturizing, very glowy, but in the most beautiful way, not in like a greasy looking way. No, this is one of my holy grail foundations. I absolutely love it. And again, it even says here normal to dry skin and a hydrating formula. So again, if you have combination dry or normal skin, you will absolutely love this. If you have oily skin, I'd stay away. They have a matte version instead. But yeah, definitely check it out. The only downside to it is there aren't many shades. For a tinted foundation, this one was a little difficult because I'm going to pick the Morphe 2 Hint Skin Tint. The Morphe 2 Hint Skin Tint is also a very runny, liquidy foundation, extremely liquidy, more liquidy liquidy than the Pro Glow from L'Oreal. And this is basically just going to give you a tint over your skin. It's going to provide you with a little bit of coverage, little bit of color, but not be like an actual foundation. So if you are someone who doesn't really wear foundation, but you still want a little bit of something, go for products like these because it's really not going to feel heavy whatsoever. It's almost going to just sink into the skin like nothing, but still perfect it and even it out slightly. If you have any redness, it will cover over that as well. It feels very lightweight. I love this one because there is just something about this skin tint where it's gonna cover enough. Like it's still gonna let your skin breathe. It's still gonna let your skin seep through. So you will see, you know, your skin. It's not gonna cover and like look like a mask. But for some reason, it just still covers enough where it just looks so perfected and your skin honestly looks like brand new. I don't know what it is with this skin tint, but it honestly is so good. It's great for all skin types as well. And I really, really, really love this one. It does dry down as well to like a semi satin matte finish, which is great. So it doesn't stay like slippery or like shiny or dewy. So I really, really like this one. Now for a tinted moisturizer. A tinted moisturizer is actually acting as a moisturizer with some color. So this is going to be a lot more thicker, a lot more nourishing, moisturizing, just with a little bit of color. And also this one has SPF 20 specifically. A lot of tinted moisturizers usually have SPF. Some don't, but it's always great to find one that does have SPF because it is still a moisturizer and a lot of moisturizers have SPF in them. So this one is probably one of the best tinted moisturizers I have come across. This is the Rare Beauty Tinted Moisturizer. It is so creamy and luxurious feeling on the skin, but still gives you enough coverage. This gives you a lot more coverage than the tinted foundations because it's a little thicker. So it has more coverage, it has more color. And this is just so great for someone who is looking for a moisturizer. So you don't want to wear a moisturizer and a foundation. You can just wear 2 in 1, if that makes sense. This is that product. So, you know, minimal makeup. If you are someone who doesn't like layering, you just need something quick and easy, this one's going to do it for you. It's got your moisturizer in there. It's got the color and coverage, but it's also got the SPF 20. It is everything in one. I absolutely love it. Great for every single skin type. And also the finish on this is kind of like a satin finish. So it does dry down a little. It's not a dewy finish, but it's not matte. It's absolutely perfect. So like this, I would say from everything in this video, probably take away this one the most because I think you guys are going to absolutely love it. And it's from Rare Beauty if I didn't mention, but yeah. Such a great, great, great tinted moisturizer. For a BB cream stands for Beauty Balm, but this one is just going to be kind of like a moisturizer as well, but a little more blurring. So it's just going to be a little more smoother. It's going to be a little bit more luxurious. It's going to have a bit more coverage. So it is almost kind of like an in-between of a tinted moisturizer and a foundation, if that makes sense. That is how I can describe this. So it does have more coverage. This is the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream. This is the most like cooling, almost gel-like BB cream. It has a lot of coverage for it. It's, I would say like on the lighter side of a medium coverage, but it's a very unique texture because it has a very cooling finish to it. So when you put it on the skin, it feels really nice and cooling. It just moisturizes the skin. It has SPF 30, which is higher than the Rare Beauty one. And a lot of people put this in the fridge and then take it out and then put it on the skin. And honestly, on a hot summer day, it is just perfect. It gives you the coverage and it just gives you a beautiful, like glowy finish. So this one has a little bit more dew to it. And it does cover a lot more than a regular tinted foundation or tinted moisturizer. So I definitely recommend this one. It is a little more on the thicker side as well. And it's definitely more like a gel almost moisturizer. It is so, so, so good. Definitely check out the reviews for it. You will see it almost has like 5-star reviews because it is that amazing. And I absolutely love it. You can definitely layer this one as well. That's what I love about these kinds of tinted products. You can layer them and you can just get more coverage out of them, but it's never going to look heavy. It's going to feel very light on the skin. skin, just walking around in a hot country, this one's great. And this one I find lasts the longest out of like the tinted skin tints or moisturizers. This one lasts longer. For a stick foundation, I definitely recommend the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Stick Foundation. There is something about this stick foundation that I absolutely love. It's such a creamy yet full coverage foundation stick. They say this is medium, they say it's buildable, and yes, it is absolutely buildable. You can layer this foundation stick and it's never going to look cakey or heavy, because there's something about it where the formula is very light on the skin, but it still gives you enough coverage. Personally, on me, this is quite full coverage, but I know you can just do 1 or 2 little stripes and make it medium coverage. It blows out to like a beautiful finish. It gives you a satin finish as well, like almost like a demi matte, I would say. But it is so creamy, so luxe, and this is perfect for dry skin. If you are someone who has texture, dry areas, any patches on your skin, and you can't wear foundation sticks because it usually clings onto any dry areas, this is the best foundation stick that you are going to find, because it is so creamy. I don't know what it does, but it just glides over the like dryness. Honestly, this is one of the best foundation sticks I have ever used, and I think it's just like my holy grail foundation stick from now on. So yeah, beautiful, like skin-like flawless finish. Huda Beauty is all about like flawlessness, and this definitely is just one of those products I feel like everyone needs in terms of foundation, like a good foundation stick. Go for this one. For a powder foundation, gotta recommend the E.L.F. Camo powder foundation. This one is in the shade Fair 140. There is, again, something about this powder foundation. Now, it has a lot of fallout, but something about this powder foundation that I absolutely love. This honestly recently just came out and I fell in love with it. It is so silky buttery with the most fullest coverage. You can, of course, go in with a brush, go in lighter, just dust it over your foundation or dust it over your face if you don't want too much coverage, or you can go in with a more dense brush and really buff it into the skin to get this beautiful full coverage powdered look. And again, like a powder foundation, but again, it is not a powdery finish. It is absolutely not powdery on the skin. That is one thing I look for with powder foundations. If it's gonna look like powdery, I don't want it. Like, no one wants it, right? So if there is a powder foundation that is creamy, silky, glides like butter when you touch it. Like when you touch this, it almost feels like you're touching a moisturizer. I know that sounds really weird, but it's like a moisturizing powder. It is not like a typical powder. Does that make sense? Like, think of your blush or your bronzer, like how powdery those are when you touch it. No, this is like a creamy, silky powder when you go into it. Honestly, I could rave about this forever. A lot of people say it's like hit or miss with this powder foundation. For me, it worked, and I have dry skin, so I definitely recommend it. You just have to find the correct way to use it. It is a buildable powder foundation, and also it just looks very smooth and flawless. It covers everything, all your imperfections, any texture. The best way I'd like to use this is, you could use a sponge as well and just really buff it in, but I would say use a dense brush and just swirl it and buff it in and really take your time. But of course, use a moisturizer and skin prep, like prep your skin before you use a powder foundation. Otherwise, powder foundations are just going to cling onto any rough areas, and we all have texture on our skin, even if we can't see it or we don't know it. Our skin is just naturally either bumpy or rough or dry in certain areas, or oily. So you definitely want to use a good primer, prep your skin before going in with powder foundations, and honestly, you guys will absolutely love this one. Last but not least is a cream foundation. The one I recommend is from MAC. This is the Studio Fix Tech Foundation. Honestly, this is the most beautiful cream foundation I have ever used. I really like the KVD Beauty Good Apple Skin Perfecting Foundation Balm as well, but this one, the MAC one, I don't know what it is about Studio Fix Tech. They just hit the nail on the head every time. Is that the right saying? This is not a cakey cream foundation, because a lot of cream foundations tend to look very cakey on the skin. Again, it's all about skin prep, but it's also about how you apply it. So how I would apply a cream foundation is with a brush like this. So anything dense that can pick up cream products and really buff it into the skin nicely. This MAC cream foundation is very full coverage. So if you are not someone who wants a full coverage out of your cream foundation, this won't be the one for you. But most cream foundations tend to be full coverage anyway. You can dot a little over the face and just make it a little more medium coverage if you want to, but it is quite full coverage straight off the bat. So you don't even need to use that much. It will last you a very long time. This foundation is incredible for photo shoots, for weddings, for any kind of occasion, because it just looks so photogenic. Is that the right word? But like flawless in photos, if that makes sense. The only thing I will say about it, just being honest, is sometimes it can seep into these like smile lines or any creases. You just have to make sure you really set it in these areas with some good powder. But apart from that, an absolutely flawless, creamy, full coverage foundation. And also it does say here cream to powder. So it does settle down into a powder as well. So it doesn't stay creamy on the skin. So if you take your hand and go like that, it's not going to lift off. So it does dry down to like a very, very, very soft, almost powder. It's a very unique formula. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know which foundation you're going to be picking up, if any. If you have any recommendations you want to leave below for everyone and myself as well, definitely do. And I hope you guys found this foundation little video helpful, and yeah, just leave me all your thoughts down below. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and until next time, I'll speak to you guys all